Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Nayasha Joseph, and C News is live at noon.
And I'm Nasira Mohammed with sport.
Topping the news at this time, Melissa Browne and Kenneth Browne, the two people charged with the murder of woman police constable Nayasha Joseph, have been ordered to reappear in court on April 18, 2017. This as they appeared before a POS Magistrate this morning. Homicide detectives consulted Director of Public Prosecutions Roger Gaspard with evidence they have gathered. C News was informed the two suspects were charged on Saturday night. Joseph, 22, who was assigned to the Mobile Police Station, went missing on March 9th. The decomposed body was fished out of the Gulf of Paria last Wednesday. Parents of students at the Santa Rita RC School in Tabaquite are today calling for the Ministry of Education to intervene in a matter they say is posing a threat to the lives of their children and some teenagers. This morning, the angry parents held a protest outside the school and claimed the Standard 2 male student is bullying and sexually harassing his schoolmates. Sabitri Prasad, the interim president of the school's Parent Teachers Association, spoke with C News and explained the situation.
What I do understand is that he almost choked a child to death. He stabbed a child with a pencil in his hand. I now hear one of the parents mention that he came with a one of those Afro comb sharpener to stab a child in the school, and the principal saw him with it, and the principal took it away from him during school period. And when he was leaving to go home, the principal gave him it back. Children are afraid to come to school. Like he's sexually harassing girl children, he going into girls' toilet and all these things also.
She told us while many parents want the child to be removed, help must be also given to him.
I want the child to be helped, right, to see where this problem is coming from. Right, it is coming from home with the parents. Right now the parents are fed up, they are tired, they want the child, they want to remove the child.
The Minister of Education, Anthony Garcia, is at this time visiting the Mayaro Secondary School as investigations continue into a fight involving students at the school. Last week, a video showing the students fighting went viral on social media, with the four perpetrators attacking another student. The four schoolgirls have since been suspended from classes and have been referred to the guidance unit for counseling. Mr. Garcia has requested that the suspended students return to school today, accompanied by their parents. We will have more on this in a subsequent newscast. Law students at the University of the West Indies this morning held a protest against what they say is the relocation of their classes to the Day Bay campus. UWI Guild Vice President-elect Darian Narain said the decision was taken without consultation.
So now students are basically protesting because they've been told that they're going to have this move in September, right, or next semester, and that date has been constantly changing. And it's really putting a lot of stress on students, especially our regional students as well, because now you have to find the funding to go down to Day Bay. You have to find the necessary funds to even live down there. There's a whole different lifestyle down there. And even for transportation costs, etc., is going to be a major issue for a lot of our students here.
However, they were promised a meeting with those in charge on Thursday, a decision they have accepted. However, C News was also told students are not being allowed into certain study rooms on the main campus in St. Augustine. The students are not sure why.
Students have exams coming up. We are in the middle of midterm season, and students cannot access the study rooms for exams and stuff because all students are being locked outside.
Why?
The students are being locked outside for no reason. We have no reason. We have not been given a reason for the students being locked outside. There's no reason given. We just note that students who are with their IDs as well, so all students here have their IDs, are registered students, and are being locked outside the compound with no given reason.
The funeral for the late Sir Derek Walcott will be held on Saturday, March 25th in St. Lucia. However, further details as to where and what time has not yet been given. The funeral is a full state funeral and all flags are flying at half-mast to recognize the passing of Sir Derek. Sir Derek Walcott was a Nobel Prize winner. He died at age 87 last week Friday. He was the founder of the Trinidad Theatre Workshop in 1959 on Juningham Avenue in Belmont, where many of his plays would be produced. This is the C News Live Report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at CNewsLive. The discussion on the closure of Caroni Green continues today. A former Minister of Agriculture says that it is a mistake, while the head of the Farmers Union is adamant that the former company disadvantaged farmers. Marie-Therese Bernard has more.
Devant Mirage is challenging the reasons for the closure of Caroni Green. He says that the company was not a burden on the public purse.
The Caroni Green enterprise was started up in 2013-2014 with European Union grant seed capital. Since then, the organization received no money from the government. The operation, of course, invested some capital investments in development of lands or something, which should be amortized over a period of time. So therefore, it is disingenuous by the Honorable Prime Minister and his Minister of Agriculture to suggest or imply to the national population that Caroni Green was losing taxpayers' money.
The former Agriculture Minister says that Caroni Green was in the last couple of years strengthening links across North America for the supply of products related but not exclusive to the production of pepper.
They were also involved in pawpaw and plantain and other food crops, which I, as Minister of Food Production at the time, was privy to. However, their successes have been very high in the area of pepper because our pepper is internationally recognized and there's a shortage of that quality of pepper as far as we as Australia demanding our peppers.
Mr. Mirage says that Caroni Green provided farmers with technical support, infrastructural support, fertilizers at good prices and connected farmers with foreign purchasers and as such never competed with the private sector. Meanwhile, Shiraz Khan, president of the Farmers Union, said the shutdown of the company was a long time in coming and should have happened sooner.
If that $8 million was spent on developing small farmers, assisting small farmers, how much more farmers could have produced at a profit rather than the state losing all that money? And today our farmers are at a worse condition than where it was before because that Caroni Green put some of our farmers out of business.
He says that Caroni Green was overspending and wasting resources.
They were buying chemicals at 3 and 4 times the price that was being sold on market. People were plowing land at 3 and 4 times the price that it was being charged normally to do that. You expect David Maharaj to say, yes, Caroni Green was a cash cow and it was for the friend? David Maharaj was the former Minister of Agriculture who ran that organization like that.
Marie-Therese Bernard, CNews.
The Chief Executive Officer of Caroni Green says he has requested a meeting with the minister in charge following government's decision to shut down the company. Last week, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley made the announcement that CGL was spending $6 million to produce 700,000 peppers and facing private sector competition. He said government should instead support farmers to grow peppers, which is what would be done. Caroni Green is a pepper production company started in 2013 under the past People's Partnership Administration. Government has also announced plans to dissolve the Tourism Development Company and shut down the Government Human Resource Service Company Limited. Workers from 2 methanol holdings plants in Point Lisas have also been sent home. To some other news now, take your own advice. A message from Hanif Benjamin from the Center of Human Development as he spoke with Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago about trauma, the loss of jobs and suicides. He said instead of sending people home, government should find alternative ways to keep people employed.
Because the idea here is that if you let go 50% of your staff and they're on the breadline and cannot find a job, how would the economy then grow? Because it's that same 50% who needs to now work and put back money into the economy. So we have a catch-22 kind of situation here.
He said government should also give people sufficient time to come to terms with being sent home.
And I think that in itself leads to a level of anxiety, worry, panic, especially if you're working in the public sector now where you're not sure if you're going to have a job tomorrow, or a private sector if you're just going to wake up one morning and fold and say, hey, we're no longer going to operate. I think giving people sufficient time to at least prepare, for what is to come. You could imagine you go to work and you have to go home this evening to tell your family that you no longer have a job, that we can no longer plan the way we were planning before, do the things that we were doing before. I think it's disrespectful at best.
The opposition leader Kamla Prasad Bisesa has accused the government of viciously attacking Hindu and Muslim people in this country. This as she sought to defend the Secretary General of the Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha, Satmaraj, on his position on the ongoing child marriage debate. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa was speaking at the closing ceremony of the Indian Diaspora event, which marked 100 years since the end of indentureship.
An untruthful, offensive attack against him. I condemn such attacks for those who stand up. For those who stand up. They have vilified the leaders of the Muslim community and the Hindu community. We allowed 2 persons to go to the Senate to express their views. Do you remember that? Mahasabha sent a representative and we had a representative of the Muslim community. And we boast about freedom of speech, and after they were done speaking, they were vilified.
The opposition leader hailed the work done by Mr. Maraj for the Hindu community over the years and asked him to continue fighting for their rights.
History is written. The name of Satmaraj will go down in the annals of the records of the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm not saying that because I'm here in the Mahasabha headquarters. I'm not saying it because Mr. Satmaraj, many moons ago, gave me my first teaching job at Lakshmi Girls College, for which I'm eternally grateful. I am saying it because it is the truth.
She went on to reiterate her position on child marriage, saying the legal age should be 18. However, provisions should be made for those who want to get married under that age. Now for the weather. A sunny day will be interrupted by a few cloudy patches with brief showery interruptions at times. Tonight we'll also have a few cloudy patches with brief showers. Seas are normal, occasionally moderate. It's often said that Trinidad and Tobago is home to some of the happiest people in the world. Today, March 20th, is the day dedicated to celebrating happiness the world over. Starting in 2013, the United Nations has celebrated the International Day of Happiness as a way to recognize the importance of happiness in the lives of people around the world. Rethink, a personal and organizational development center, continued its tradition of serving breakfast to the public in commemoration of International Happiness Day. On the menu this morning was doubles and bacon shark, and Dion Batiste has more.
What is International Day of Happiness? It's a day to be happy, of course. Chief Happiness Officer at Rethink, Melissa Dasrat, said the prevalence of crime has resulted in general mistrust among citizens. She said the initiative is an opportunity to re-establish that trust.
It's not just a freebie. The idea is that, yeah, you get a really nice breakfast because we wanted people to start their day today very happily, but also that you're going to pay it forward through some kind of random act of kindness that you can now do for a stranger. And I think people have the misconception that making someone happy requires money or spending money, but it actually doesn't. You can cross someone across the street. You can help someone with their homework. You can give someone an umbrella who needs it.
Barry Bartholomew said the initiative brings much needed light and positivity to a society otherwise burdened by crime.
I was asked to bring this product, which is taking over the world, and it makes everybody happy. Once they taste this, they'll be happy for like about a week or so. Until the jar finishes and they get another jar, they'll be happy again. It's just something positive in the country, and we need a lot of positivity. I love the idea of starting on Monday on a good note, you know, so I couldn't resist it. It was perfect.
Diane Hunt, owner of Diane's Tea Shop, was full of praise for the company's initiative.
Well, I think it's absolutely refreshing. Celebrating International Happiness Day for me is the beginning of, it's a small step, but right now in our country I think we really need to find a way to restore our happiness, or at least to find a way to expand our happiness. I'm happy and inspired to see people actually coming out and to actually have this story being covered, because I think so much negative is covered, and when there are great things happening in the country we also need to cover that.
Stacey Ryan of Rethink was blown away by the success of the event.
Initially we started off by giving 300 free bacon sharks to the public, and because of the wonderful response that we have gotten, Richards has actually donated $3,000 worth more of bacon shark, and Rethink has decided to match it. So at the end of the morning period, we would have distributed about 1,000 plus bacon shark to the public.
So Rethink started with random acts of kindness to the general public. How do you plan to pay it forward on World Happiness Day? Dion Batiste, C News.
I should have taken advantage of that offering by Rethink. Trinidad and Tobago is ranked 38th as the happiest country out of a survey done of 53 countries. Norway has jumped from 4th place in 2016 to 1st place this year, followed by Denmark, Iceland and Switzerland in a tightly packed bunch. All of the top 4 countries rank highly on all the main factors found to support happiness: caring, freedom, generosity, honesty, health, income and good governance. It's time now for me to turn you over to Nasira Mohammed, who is going to let us know what's happening in the world of sport. And I know, Nasira, that TT Red Force did not do so well yesterday.
That's correct. Nothing to be happy about today, but you know, you make the best of it. Tobago Red Force were down by the Guyana Jaguars in the regional 4-day tournament. Donovan Miller, a level 4 ECB qualified coach working in London and Essex, was recently appointed assistant coach for the St. Kitts and Nevis CPL T20 squad. That's the Patriots, that is. He said, "It's a really good move personally for me at this time. It can only be a bonus for me and my development. It's something I'm really looking forward to, with bringing my ideas there and to learn from Phil himself and some experienced players we have in the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots squad this year," end quote. As you know, Phil Simmons was announced as the new head coach of the Patriots in December of 2016, with the owners trying to build the franchise with the acquisition of Chris Gale from the Jamaica Talwas. Trinidad and Tobago senior men's team entered their final leg of preparations yesterday for Friday's crucial 2018 World Cup qualifier against Panama at the Hazley Crawford Stadium. A 26-man squad will assemble for the start of a residential camp, and head coach Dennis Lawrence will conduct evening training sessions at the Hazley Crawford Stadium. Among the players in Lawrence's squad announced on the weekend is goalkeeper John Michael Williams, who returns to the squad for competitive action for the first time since the 3-1 loss to Honduras in November, in which he was forced to leave the field with a head injury. Williams told TTFA Media, "It's good to be back in the team after some time away. I have been involved in the training session since Dennis has been on board. The important thing is for the players to open their minds and understand all the ideas and tactics that the coach wants, and for us to stay focused and give our best in these 2 games." And that's the sport for today.
And that's how we end the C News Report at noon. I'm Mahalia Joseph.
And I'm Nasira Mohammed.
Remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, you can visit the C News website at ctvtt.com. Have a good afternoon.